Yes, people, welcome back to Premsy TV. We're here with the man Graham, the guy who knows everything about football, to preview the Crystal Palace versus Arsenal game. How are you doing, Graham? It's been a while since you've been on the channel. Talk to me. You good?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. That's quite an intro. I hope I live up
Good,
to it,
man.
mate.
You do, man. You know your stuff. You know your stuff. And like I said, you're the first person I brought onto my channel because I've been
Yeah.
watching you for a number of years, and you know what you're talking about. You need that respect, Graham. I'm telling you.
And we got good numbers for that first show, and since then your numbers have been going up, haven't they? But I think I got the first good set of numbers on your show. Actually, I know it was a very
Yeah.
early show, but you've had some great shows, Premsy, and I think you're slowly but surely making your mark, and the channel's going to grow. You just got to be patient and have a bit of patience with it and watch it grow. It's growing, mate. Honestly, you just got to be patient.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man. I just got to be a bit more consistent with it. Like I was mentioning to you off camera, obviously, this isn't my full-time job, so I can do it as and when. Obviously, I love football, love Arsenal, and I'll speak about it as and when as I can. And if it does grow, you never know what can happen with it. But I'm a footballing man. I just like to come on here and chat football. So, yeah, Graham. So, talk to me, man. Tell me, where do you think we are now? Because when we first spoke, we were in total two different stages to where we are now and where we were then. And obviously, you know where I was standing. I was fuming. I wanted to see progression. And I must say, put my hands up. Arteta's obviously changed stuff around. The team has got that spirit. And it looks like we're on course for challenging for the top four. So talk to me.
Yeah, look, I understand your concerns at the time because you come up and did some really great, passionate stuff on AFTV, and to be honest, it resonated with me. A lot of the things you said at the time were perfectly reasonable things that you said. I think when we last spoke, it was around the time, I think at the start of the season. I think we might have been hammered by Man City, lost to Chelsea, and I think the early signs were that the transfer window you felt at the time was a little bit underwhelming. But and you wanted to see some evidence on the pitch, which I can understand your view. I think since then, the building blocks that he's put in place have sort of like started to bear fruit, to be fair. And I think it started off, mate, when he actually addressed that defence and he sort of like brought in Ramsdale, Tomiyasu, Benjamin White into the back line and Odegaard into midfield, obviously. I mean, there's still some work to be done. Obviously, we know we need to upgrade. We need a striker. We lack a striker at the moment at the top the pitch, and probably a left-sided number 8 in the team. He's in the formation. He's now playing a 4-3-3 because I think Xhaka's playing slightly out of his comfort zone. I think we need an upgrader there, and probably Lacazette is going to go in the summer, as we know. And I think the only thing that sort of like at the moment is as good as we've been, and we are sort of moving into a position now, I think that really on paper, if we don't get top 4, there's going to be a few questions asked now. And I know you will be one, obviously, to be asking if we don't get there now. But I just feel as though we possibly missed a chance in January to get that striker. That's the only. If we got brought in that, I know we'll put all our eggs in the Vlahovic basket, but just imagine if we had a striker up top now. So I think we would be certainly getting that top 4 spot. That's my only real worry at the moment, going into what is a very difficult last 10 games, because we have got harder fixtures than Tottenham, and I think they are probably our rivals for that top 4 spot because they've got such an easy run in my eyes.
Yeah, I think they have as well.
If we had that, they've got something we haven't got. They've got 2 guys at the top of the pitch who put the ball in the back of the net, Kane and Song. The rest of their team's crap. But they
got Conte as well. They got Conte.
Yeah, they got. That's right. Yeah, you're 100% right there, mate. They've got a decent manager and 2 top strikers. That's the thing. But if he gets top 4 of that squad, you think, well, how did he do it? You know. But I think that going back to your original question, I think that what Mikel's done is he's now really put a style of play, stamped his identity on the team. We are on a fantastic run, something like 5 straight away victories going into the Crystal Palace game. We've taken something like 31 points out of the last 39. It's been really impressive. We're averaging nearly 2 points per game now, which gets you top 4 if we can maintain that for the end of the season. I think 71 points is what we need. So I think we need 5 wins, probably 3 draws from the remaining 10 games. I think that, and certainly if we avoided defeat at Tottenham, I think that would be sort of like the icing on the cake and get us over the line. But you know, in answer to your question, he's got the team playing well. He's got he's built lovely partnerships across the pitch. He's brought players are playing in triangles on both sides of the pitch. We don't just play down the left now, Premsy. We play down the right-hand side as well. Saka and Odegaard's a fantastic partnership on that right-hand side.
Mm.
We got the 2 number 8s pushing up, but the thing that controls the whole thing, the key player for me, is Thomas Partey, who's been absolutely brilliant as the number 6 in that midfield 3. And to be fair, I mean, all the signings he's brought in have done well. So he has managed to turn it around. And although we still haven't beaten any of the top teams, you know, like the Chelsea's, your Man City's, your Liverpool's, I think that we're beating the teams now that we used to beat. And we're back up there now, I think. You know, he's improved this year. You only have to look at we're something like 13 points better off this year than what we were last year. It's because of the way the team plays. We're comfortable playing out from the back. When you're at the home games now, Primson, you probably see it yourself. I mean, back in the day when the players were playing around the back, the crowd used to have kittens.
Yeah,
Didn't they? Get it up,
nerves,
get it up
squeaky
the
bum
pitch.
time.
Yeah, but now the fans are comfortable with the players playing out from the back. We press from the front. And I think the best thing of all, what he's managed to change at Arsenal, was there was a lot of toxicity in the club when he came in. He's got the fans and the players, the whole club now is pulling in the same direction. But to do that, I think he needs to get top 4.
Yeah, most definitely. If he doesn't get top 4, Graham, you know what I'm going to be on. You know what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
It's time to go in it, because he has actually changed my mind, changed my thoughts in the last few weeks. I'll say the last few weeks. I'd probably say the last 5-6 weeks, because, like I said, I'm a realist, Graham. At the end of the day, all I want is the best for Arsenal Football Club, and them progressive steps are being made now. And I think the key factor to all the change is the upturn in Thomas Partey's form. Obviously, you touched on him just then. And also a touch in Martin Odegaard getting used to the Premier League now. And I think them 2 players have been very vital, because where we've been messing up over the start of the season is everyone could see it. We had no middle. There was no midfield. But now it's not just the sides or the wings that we're playing down. We are actually creating and building up play through the middle, and them little 1-2 ticky-tacky footballs coming back. So there is progressive signs that I'm seeing, and I like what I'm seeing. Even
you enjoying the football?
Yeah, I'm enjoying the football, and that's the most important thing. Like you say, I drive, Graham, like 4 hours to the Emirates to go and watch the game. I don't want to go to watch my team week in, week out playing shit football. Like, that just makes no sense. And you don't, there's obviously the atmosphere and all that, but you want to see good football. That's the point of football. And we've been used to that since the whole of Wenger's reign. Regardless if we've been winning or not, the football has always been good. Do you know what I mean? Now Arteta is starting to not only play good football, but also get the results. First, he was grinding the results out and there was no football there. And that's where it was a worry for me, because I didn't know how long you can sustain that for. But now he is bringing them performances in. So he is starting to get some faith from me now. But that top 4 is a must, because we have to get that now. Because if we don't get that, it is a fail, because we was never in the running from it at the start. But the position that we are in right now, we got 1 game a week. The next 3 games for me are the most important games. We have to win them next 3 games. For me, if we do not win all 3 of them games, then it's going to be a struggle to get that top 4, because they're vital.
Well, I'm slightly different from you. I do agree that the next 3 games on paper are probably the easiest 3. I think that Crystal Palace away, for all that, is going to be a very difficult fixture. It depends what sort of team Palace have when they put out on Monday night, because they've got some injury concerns. If Zaha and Elise don't play, for example, that would be a massive loss for them, and that will help us. So, but to go away to Selhurst Park on a Monday night under lights, London derby, the atmosphere, you know what it's like at Selhurst Park, isn't it? It's a unique the atmosphere up there. So that's going to be a difficult game, but I do think that we're good enough to get the 3 points there. And then I think we should beat Brighton at home. And Southampton away is still a tricky fixture, but one you'd think that we would win. And so I understand your mentality, thinking that we've got to get 9 out of 9, because on paper they look really winnable, and that probably the easier 3 coming up, because after that we get into that cycle of very difficult fixtures where we got like Man United or Chelsea first of all on the Wednesday night, which is going to be, you know, everyone's expecting to lose there. And then Man United early on a Saturday, it's going to be difficult. Chelsea, Man United back to back, and then we still got to go to Tottenham and West Ham. So we have got difficult fixtures. So yeah, I think what you're saying is makes sense. But I think where we have to look at it is that, you know, we're looking at the weekend's fixtures, for example, like Tottenham play Newcastle tomorrow, and Man United play Leicester today.
Yeah.
If one of those two teams, or particularly Tottenham, were to drop points, that would then probably, if we didn't win at Palace, would make it probably okay. I think sometimes it depends. We play last this weekend, so the pressure's first of all on them to get the results. First of all, they're playing first, but if they do get the results, then the pressure's on us to make sure that we get our results. So sometimes you are looking at how the other teams perform and the sort of results they get. So, but I do think that's a good point you make in a way, because I think these are the three fixtures that really are. No fixture's easy. We've got like 10 cup finals.
Do you know what it is as well, Graham? Just the way I see it, sorry for cutting you, the way I see it as well, after the international break, we have to gain momentum. Them 3 games is a momentum games. If we lose within them 3 games, I guarantee you we're gonna have a bit of a jolt, and it's gonna be an up down kind of thing. We can't focus on anyone else. I know we have to look at results sometimes here and there, but we just got to focus on what we need to do. And for me, these 3 games are the most vital to gain that momentum running into the back end. And without momentum, it's sad. We know we're Arsenal fans. We know our team inside and out like the back of our hand. We know Arsenal without no momentum they can slip up left, right, and centre. So when we've got momentum, it's in our favour.
Yeah, I think it's a great point you make. We're on this fantastic run, as I say. We've won our last 5 away. So if we won this will set a new record, or not a new record, but it'll be the first time we've won 6 away since 2013. That's the last time we won 6 away. We have taken 31 out of the last 39 points. We are averaging something like 1.94 points per game, which is near enough 2 points per game, which gets you top 4. If we were to keep that up towards the end of the season, we'd definitely get top 4. And I do think there's something to be said for momentum. We have got it at the moment. The only thing I'm pleased about this season, Premsy, is that when we've lost a game, we've always bounced back. I can't remember us ever having a blip where we sort of like lost the game and then lost, say, another game straight away. The games we had, apart from those first 3 at the start of the season before the team came together. But I think we've got, actually interesting, I saw a stat yesterday that we average more points per game than Chelsea after 3 games this season. So there's only Liverpool and Man City who've got more points than us. So I know it's all just, you can play with numbers to suit your argument, but it just shows how well we've done. We haven't had many blips. So I think that even when we lost the game, when we lost at Liverpool 4-0, we bounced back. When we lost to Man United, back.
Oh, my clap 1 sec. Sorry, people. I don't know what happened now in the stream. I'm going to add Graham back in a sec. Let me see. Is that sorted? Graham?
Just bear with me, mate.
Oh, just bear with us, peeps.
Yeah. Oh.
Are we back in? Oh. Right, people. I think we've lost Graham for a second. But yeah, I just want to answer some of these questions here whilst he comes back in. If Saliba comes back next season, should he partner Gabriel at centre-back and play White as right-back? I don't think we could drop Tomiyasu out, to be honest with you, Nav. I think it's going to have to be a rotation kind of thing. I think if we do get Champions League football, there's going to be plenty of games to play. And I feel like maybe... One second, we get Graham back into the stream. Are you back in, Graham?
Yeah, I apologise for that.
It's fine. I was just touching on this question that Nav just asked about if Saliba comes back next season, should he partner Gabriel and then we push White to the right? But I think that wouldn't be... I think the balance wouldn't be right like that. I think we'd have to rotate Saliba and maybe a White Champions League, Premier League, because I think Tomiyasu, for me, is a very solid right back, and it'd just be unfair to push him out like that. Yeah.
Look, I think that we've got Tomiyasu is like #1 right back, and Cedric, as you know, has come in and done really well. So I think he's almost like we've got 2 quality right backs now with Tomiyasu the main one. So I wouldn't be in favour of that. But why can't Saliba come back? And we've got like 3 quality centre backs. What I want to see is the mentality of our football club. If we're going to go and start challenging for league titles and getting better as a club, we need to have like what Man City got. They've got like Laporte, Stones, and Diaz, 3 quality centre backs. You don't get one of them arguing, if I'm not playing all the time, I'm leaving, do you? You've got 3 centre backs there, all pushing themselves hard to take the 2 places. And when you're playing in Europe every week and you're playing Saturday as well, there's plenty of game time over the season for you to sort of like play And if you get in the team, then you've got to play well to hold down your place. And as long as you're doing that, you take your chance and stay in the team, don't you? So I don't subscribe to that fact where we bring back Saliba, because I do want him to come back. I was talking to Dan Potts about this today, sort of like, I do want him to come back and all this, and it's going to be key in the summer because his loan spell at Marseille, and his negotiators are going to be wanting to talk to Arteta about the plans for him next season. Where does he see him in the team? Because he's not going to come back and want to sit on the bench. But I think we don't want to lose this player, because basically he's going into the last 2 years of his contract. So we want to time down to another contract. We don't want him to slip into his last year and we have to sell him for peanuts, do we? So I think we need to convince him that he's part of the future plans. We've got 3 quality centre backs, and if he comes into the team, he plays well, and he has been playing well for Marseille, and he's made his international debut for France now.
Yeah.
If he's playing well, he holds his position in the team. It's up to him, isn't it? We can't sort of say, guarantee anybody first call. You're guaranteed a spot, but you are definitely one of 3 top quality centre backs, and your chance will come, and take your chance, and you'll stay in the team. I mean, he can play right-sided centre back, he can play left-sided centre back, he can play with Gabriel, he can play with White. One of them might get injured, that might be his chance. He could easily force his way into the thinking at the start of the season. If he plays well, he'll stay in the team. But if you want to compete, Prem, so you've got to have like what Man City got. Look at all those wingers they got, like Mahrez, Sterling, Silva, Grealish, and Foden. All those players, only 2 or 3 of them can play at a time. They don't say, "Oh, if I'm not first choice, I'm leaving." Do you?
I think the best players are not scared of competition either. I think the best players in the world, they're not scared. The best players with the highest mindset, they're not scared, because people, like, trust me, that's not how it works. And I think Saliba won't be scared. I think he'll come back, and I think he will fight for his place, because hopefully if we do get top 4, we'll be in a position where he'll be coming back to an Arsenal that's in a good place before he left an Arsenal that was in a bad place. So he might see that different country, capital of England. And you got to understand, it's a young team as well. You look around, see the players are his age, and they can grow with this team. So I think Saliba, I think he will come back, and I think he won't be scared for the challenge as well. I just want to answer this question here. I'm with you, top 4 or go. So that's me with Mikel Arteta, Graham. So I'll ask you this. So the question is, if Arteta flops, there is definitely progression, but is it enough? So for me, there's progression there. If he doesn't get top 4, it's not enough for me. I don't think. I think then we've got to go on and look for a new manager who then can push on and take the club forward. And that's being fair, because we've given him ample time, give him over 250 million. And then I'm not saying that he's going to be a rubbish manager. This is just my personal view, because I can't see how we can really mess this top 4 up now, because it's in our hands. And if there's anything about you as a team, as a manager, you should be able to get over the line. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I know. I get your point of view. I think just sort of like take it back at the start of the season. If we just have a couple of minutes debating this, if I say to you, mate, at the start of the season, where did you think we were finished? Where did you think we were finished?
Realistically, I thought we'd finish about 6.
Yeah, 7. I thought 6. I thought maybe 5th, certainly 6th. That's my least of my expectations this year. So so we've overachieved in a way. We've reached the level where we want to be slightly quicker. So that does lead to that argument you're saying now, because we're in such a good position, because we've done so well. If we collapse now, we don't make it. Should we ask questions of the manager? You're going to have an argument. I know you, because you want the best for Arsenal Football Club. I understand all that, and your standards are high. So, but I think if he finishes 5th, I think he should have, in my opinion, the opportunity next season. And let's just see how he starts next season. But I do agree with you. If he doesn't get us back into the Champions League soon, it's perfectly right to expect, to be thinking, maybe he's not the manager. But I just think of what he's done this year, how he's sort of like got us back up there into the top 4, how he's sort of like brought the fan base and the club and the players, everybody's on side. Everyone's pushing in the right direction. We're playing good football. I think if we were to finish, I think we're finishing the top 5. I think it's just a question for me whether we get that 4th spot. I still think we will get that 4th spot. I do think it, despite the hard fixtures. I just think that the team is playing well. They all understand their positions, what they got, how they got to play in the games, the rotations, the quality. If we had that, say, if we had a quality striker, and I know disrespect Lacazette, he's brilliant the way he brings the young players into play and the experience he offers. But if we did have a goal scorer up front, we would be walking it. But there was always that doubt when you haven't got a striker putting the ball in the net like what Tottenham have got. But I think for me, if he didn't get top four, I can understand the concern. I can understand some people maybe thinking, do you know what, as brilliant as he's been, we still haven't reached our targets. But for me, I'm somebody who thinks, do you know what, he's done well enough to certainly deserve the next season. But if he doesn't start well next season, or he doesn't get the signings in the summer, because that'd be the problem for me. He always talks about when Arsenal come knocking, it's a different call. But we need to be in the Champions League. All these players, like, you know, that we're being linked with, they want to play Champions League football. So it's so important that we get Champions League. It'll be massive for us to get back in the Champions League. We used to always moan about finishing in the top four, never winning a trophy. But the importance this year more than ever is you get top four, you get back in that Champions League, then you get the players you want, then the club can grow to the next stage. And that's why it's so important. But yeah, I take your point. You know, I do respect your opinion, you know, even if I slightly disagree, because you want the best standards for Arsenal. And I can understand why you would think that if we don't get top four from this position, it will be a collapse. I can understand that perfectly.
To be honest with you, I do see your point of view as well, Graham. Like, say, for example, we finished 5th, a point off. Then there's an argument there. But if we finish 6th, 8 points off, then I don't see how there's an argument for it. Do you know what I mean? Because even though we have got a few teams in there that are going to be hard, we should be able to still beat them teams like a United, a West Ham. Tottenham are not really that much greater than us. So why shouldn't we make that top 4 spot? Like I said, we're beating the teams that we should be beating now. That's why I personally believe these next 3 fixtures, like I said, are so important, because they're teams that we would normally beat. And over this course of the season, we have been beating them teams, regardless if it's been boring 1-0 or whatnot. We have managed to get over the line. So that's why I see it. But with Arteta, like, I give the man his dues now. Graham is like, I'm not slating him too tough, you get me? But the way you got to see it is, realistically, if we don't get top 4, that's 3 seasons now we've not been in Champions League under him. Get me? That's Unai Emery's in what this is in the next round of the Champions League with Villarreal. Like, it's all a madness. Like,
it's more than 3 seasons. It'd be 5 seasons like Champions League.
No, but with Arteta in it, with Arteta.
Oh yeah, three seasons Arteta. Yeah, but he's had 2 seasons in Europe, hasn't he? In the Europa League, or I know you want higher standards than that, but we can't afford. First of all, if he didn't get European football for me this season, definitely should not be manager of Arsenal Football Club. If he got us back into Europe and we had a really good season and we were so close, I think that for me would just buy him a bit more time. So I still think, but I get your point now. We're in the top 4 in a fantastic position. And it would need a bit of a collapse here for us not to get it. Because if you look at the teams around us, Man United are really, they're almost like, they need a rebuild. They need a rebuild, Man United. West Ham are now just fallen away because they can't cope with 2 fixtures a week, and their whole priority now is the Europa League. And then you've got Tottenham, who probably are on paper more likely to be our biggest rivals for this position, just given that they've got the easier running. They've got a good manager, probably the best manager, and they've got Kane and Son up front. But they've been inconsistent over the last few weeks as well. So, do you know what? I agree with you. If we were to collapse, it would be, to me, down to the players, and the manager couldn't handle the pressure, Premsy, because it will boil down to pressure. We've never been in this position for a long time, and this is a young group of young players for the first time trying to get into Europe, or trying to reach their target, and they're literally under that pressure. Every game is sort of, you've got to win it, or you've got to make sure you don't lose against the top side. It is pressure when you know that the outcome could be that you don't get your goal, which is top 4. So that's the only reason why I think it might happen. Because this is where you need your experienced players, Premsy, like your Xhakas, your Lacazettes, and people like that. Even your Lenos when he plays. They're like your experienced core who need to pull the young players through in difficult moments. But so far, when we've been in difficult moments, we've responded. So, but as the prize gets closer, it becomes more pressurised, doesn't it? So, but I do agree with you that it would need a collapse really for us not to get it, and then probably questions would be asked.
No, most definitely, Graham. Like I said, he is slowly winning me over game by game, match by match. But like I said, I'm just a passionate and an emotional person. Like I said, when Arsenal lose, I'm pissed off, real pissed off, Graham. And like, if we didn't get top 4 now, like I said, I've always said, if you could go back to my AFTV videos, listen to them, I said, but then it comes to the last 5 games of the season, that's when I'm going to start getting excited. You get me? But now we're in a position where, for me, that's why I was saying these next 3 games are very vital. If we don't get to them last 5 games as favourites, then we've really let it slip, because like you said, all these teams around us ain't doing well. We're footballing people. We can see that with our own eyes. And everything's going for us right now. So if everything's going for us and we can't get over the line, what's the issue? Does that make sense?
Well, I get your point you're saying, and then you'll be sort of like saying, you'll be asking questions whether the manager really sort of like and the players could handle the pressure in the running.
Yes.
And that is where Arteta's got to step up and take the pressure off the players. And to be fair to him so far, I mean,
he is doing well.
He's doing well, and all the signs coming out of the dressing room. The players are behind him; they believe in what he's saying, and I think there's a confidence in the team and in the manager of their own ability. I mean, they go out on the football pitch now and play. They play the football the way they want to play, and what I've been pleased about in this season after that difficult start is when apart from the games against Liverpool, Man City, and to be honest, the game against Man City at home, we deserved to win that. We were so good on the day, just unlucky.
Yeah.
But what I'm pleased about is when we attack now, we play our football. We should score more goals than we do, as well as we play, because but we get ahead, and then when we're asked questions in the last 20 minutes again, we're just resilient. We defend, which Arsenal teams of the past have been lacking that sort of resilience at the back, where everybody sort of like works hard for each other as a team, and we literally see games out. Like the Villa game was a great example. We were so dominant in that game for 60 minutes. Should have been 3 up. Yeah. But then when they came hard at us the last 20 minutes, we defended. They only had 1 shot on target. They were sort of like pushing us back, but we were just keeping them at bay. And that comes down to the way Arteta's organised the team, the way the players play, the confidence in the team. Everybody's working for each other, which is great to see. So there are lots of things that you think, these players, really, they shouldn't collapse because of the confidence in the group. The manager is confident in his own ability, confident of the players on the pitch, and he's making the right changes when he needs to. And to be honest with you, we're dealing with situations in games better than we did before. So I'm confident. The games I'm looking at, the games we've got left. I mean, I'm just flicking through it here. Really, basically, of the home games, I think Leeds. I know no games are give me, don't get me wrong, but Leeds, Brighton, Everton at home, you'd expect us to win those 3. So the only difficult one left is Man United at home, you would think. But, Man United are not the Man United of old. And
we should be beating them at home.
And I think we should be beating Man United. So if you imagine we won our 4 home games, or 1-3 drew 1, worst case scenario, then you're looking at the away games, you're thinking, do you know what? Southampton a few weeks ago were looking really good, but they've fallen away slightly now. So we're probably playing them at the right time. But I think we're better than Southampton, and that's not me being sort of like disrespectful, but I do think we are. Crystal Palace is a local derby. For me, is the hardest of the next 3 games. If we win that game on Monday night, that sets us up perfectly. But it depends what team Palace put out, who's available. But I think that we are, it's a game again you'd expect us to win. And then you look at the difficult games, like Tottenham away. It's going to be a real difficult game. Chelsea away, we could easily lose at Chelsea. We might even lose at Tottenham, you could just see that as a possibility. But I think that, we're good enough to at least get a draw there. West Ham, we'll be playing them. If they're in the semi-final of the Europa League, we're playing at the right time. So and then we got to go to Newcastle. I think that will be not easy because Newcastle are getting better under Eddie Howe. But I still think there's no reason why we can't win there. So then you look at Tottenham, really. They have got a very easy set of fixtures for them. The only games I'm looking at, Villa away will be difficult for them, but they could win that. Their difficult games is Liverpool away. I expect them to lose at Liverpool, and then us. So they're at home to us. But the rest of their fixtures, like Norwich, Burnley at home, Norwich away, Brentford away, Newcastle at home. These are sort of fixtures that you think that they would win.
They should be winning, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why. But we can't worry about what they do. We just need to focus on ourselves, Bremsy. And if we play to our levels, I think that we should still get that top four. But you are right. Questions will have to be asked because we've got games in hand. We've got points advantage. So
Yeah.
if we don't get top four from there will be questions asked, obviously.
I think it'll, like I said, it'll depend how it happens. If he loses it with like a point or two and it
Yeah,
comes down to the last game of the season, Tottenham, Arsenal, and it comes down to there, obviously
yeah,
you've got to understand, A, we're not going to be happy because it's Tottenham. And
yeah,
B, we're going to be caught up in the emotion of nearly having something we haven't had in a long time. I think he will get a bit of stick at the start. But I think
yeah,
once
yeah, yeah.
the time settles, I think as fans, we might look at it and think, right, okay, if he can get the signings in. But if we did give him that season and that first cup 10 game period and he's nowhere near comfortably in top four with the signings he's got, then if we don't start sacking managers, I'm not saying sack everybody, but where is the progression then? Where at what point do we say, right, okay, this is a good stepping stone now. We need to look for someone else. Because it's not like we can't attract a big manager, Graham. We're a massive football club. Do you know what I mean? And all I want to see, like I said, is tomorrow's never promised. We could go out tomorrow and get killed. And Arsenal's a massive love in our life. All we want to see is Arsenal doing well. And like I said, I'm not going to lie, over the last couple of weeks, I've been getting that factor back. And as you've seen, you've gone to this games yourself. The crowd is a very different feel to what it's been for many, many years. And that's getting me excited again. It is getting me excited again. And now I'm starting to give him that belief. I'll just feel shot in the head if we don't end up getting the fourth spot now. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, football's a funny game. It's attached to emotions, isn't it? And a lot of time when you speak, is all your emotions attached to it. But I think if we look at the bigger picture, if he misses it a couple of points, we'll have to reassess and evaluate it sensibly in it. Because like I said, if you look at the bigger picture, it's not so bad. But I just think it's in our own hands. And I think if we don't get it now, I think it's a big fuck up from us, Graham. Seriously.
Yeah. That's fair point.
But just wanted to touch on the actual Palace game now. No, because we've not spoken in a while. We've been thinking. Patrick Vieira, man, is what a manager he's turning out to be. He's changed a boring Crystal Palace team into an exciting team in a matter of months. He's got exciting players there, and I think he deserves props. He's been introduced into Premier League Hall of Fame. And it surprised me, to be honest with you, Graham. Where do you stand on Patrick Vieira and what he's actually done to this Palace team?
Well, first of all, he's one of my favourite ever Arsenal players. So
love him.
Yeah, love him. I was behind the goal. I remember one goal he scored at Arsenal against Newcastle and won the league back in '98. He was about 30 yards up and he arrowed a right foot shot right into the corner. It was the roof of the net right in front of me. Went in like a rocket. So, I mean, from that day, for me, I mean, he's always a great player anyway, but I loved him even more. But yeah, so he came into a Crystal Palace outfit that had been managed by Roy Hodgson. They were a very defensive, boring team, weren't they? They used to sit with everybody behind the ball and just use Zaha on the break. That's all they had. And they even beat us once and messed up Emery's season, didn't they? When he picked a shit team that day and we lost 3-2 and Zaha did us on the break. So yeah, but it used to be very boring watching Palace, but now he's transformed them to first of all, he got really good young players. The recruitment. I mean, first of all, get Conor Gallagher.
Wow.
Yeah, he's from Chelsea. They probably do well to keep him, to be honest, but he came in and he's been really good this season. Elise, isn't it? He's the guy who came from Reading for about £6-8 million. And I think we were looking at him as well, so we missed out there, because he's looked a really good player. And then, of course, they've got
Mitchell.
They've got a lot of good young players. So the recruitment really good. Even their Ward, who he brought in, he can't even get in the team at the moment. So he's brought some really good players. But the thing he's done is he changed the way they play. So the mentality now is not like sitting with everybody behind the ball and boring football. It's like pressing from the front and trying to win the ball back in high up the pitch, or pressing from the front, pressing in midfield, getting on the ball, trying to stamp your authority on the game, not just sitting back and trying to hit on the break. It's a refreshing to see a team trying to play football. He's transformed the way they play, and the fans love him for what he's done there. Because the football they've been used to, even though they're like the draw specialists in the Premier League. I think they've drawn 13 games this year, but they've still played some great football and put in some great performances against. They should have beaten us at the Emirates, to be honest, and they drew with Man City. So do you know what? He's got them to a cup semi-final as well. So he's done wonders there in his first season. And So that's the measure of the task that he's done, that we face on Monday, and a measure of what he's done. So he's taken a team that was sort of struggling down the bottom and now comfortably mid-table and playing great football, and that's a more, when you're a Palace fan, if you'd said to me, if I was a Palace fan and you said to me, well, manager's going to come in, we're going to be in the middle of the table, we're going to be competing against the top clubs, we're going to get to a cup semi-final, but importantly, you're going to enjoy watching us play football. They would have bit your hand off for that, wouldn't they? So, so he's now sort of putting himself in a position. You talk about potential managers.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are saying to me, could he be the next manager of Arsenal one day if Arteta doesn't make, sort of like get us to where we want to be? And I would say if he carries on sort of like what he's doing at Palace, I mean, and plus the fact he's an Arsenal man, I mean, you wouldn't rule it out, would you? So, so I think the football they played this year, as I say, he's putting them in a position now where when you look at that Palace fixture, I think to myself, do you know what? Although we think we need to win, it's going to be a difficult match. I do think that.
Most definitely. I think Mohad in here as well, he says they're the same like us, they're together as a team. And I think that's very vital as well. I think Crystal Palace, I think Patrick Vieira, in order to get them down into an FA Cup semi-final, like you said, comfortably sitting in mid-table, no worry of relegation. You got to say to him, that's a team that's fighting for a manager. And like you said, see with me, Graham, like I wouldn't, with the Patrick Vieira, because I love him so much, I would never say, oh, he can never be an Arsenal manager. But I think if we was to move on from Arteta, I think we would need to go in for somebody who is a proven winner. Do you know?
Yeah. That's a good point.
Personally, because like I said, Arteta's not done so bad right now, Graham. Like I said, I want him to do well. I want him to get top 4. I want him to then go on and challenge, and I want him to be the greatest ever Arsenal manager. There's nothing personal against him. It's just I want Arsenal to do these things quicker rather than sooner rather than later, should I say rather. But I just want to get your prediction for the game as well, Graham, because I think as much as people are giving Crystal Palace a lot of props and they are a good team, I just have a feeling we'll go there and we'll get a comfortable victory.
I think, first of all, I think it depends what Palace team comes out on Monday, who is fit. If Zaha's not fit, Leeds is not fit, that makes our job even easier, because he's still got players he could bring in like Ayew and Edouard, he could play up front, or Eze, I think it's Eze, Eze. So he could play. So he's still got players he can bring in, but Zaha and Elise are really top players for me. They've impressed me every time I watch Palace. So for them not to be on the pitch would be a massive advantage for Arsenal and make our job easier. But even if they are, I still think we've got more quality. So you think that we should win the game. And I think the difference is Palace will still try and play to win the game. Was when they played against Man City, they were slightly more defensive, I thought, than they normally are. So I still think he'll try and press from the front and try and sort of that will suit Arsenal, because I think we struggle against teams who sit deep with everybody behind the ball. But when teams come on to us, we play round them, and then we get our quality individuals in situations where they can impact the game, like get Saka one-on-one with their left back, or get Martinelli in behind their right back, and Odegaard can pull the strings. So if they play that way, I think that if they come at us a bit, come onto us, that means I think we can play round them and start creating chances and scoring goals. We find that easier than teams just sit with everybody behind the ball. I think there are, as I pointed out to Dan Potts, I did some research on this, and they concede a lot of goals from set pieces. We've scored a lot of goals this year from set pieces. So, for example, like that new set piece coach has come in, we haven't conceded a goal from a corner yet this season in the Premier League. We've scored something like 11 goals from set pieces ourselves, which is normally nowhere near that. Arsenal don't normally concede that, score that many goals from set pieces. But Crystal Palace have conceded 13 from set pieces. So they are vulnerable to corners, to free kicks. And I think also they commit a lot of fouls. I think they committed 5th most fouls in the league, which suggests to me that they're not great at tackling and they give set pieces and free kicks away. I think we could exploit them there as well. So, I think that although it's going to be difficult, I predicted 2-1, to be honest, to Arsenal. Dan Potts, I spoke to, he's going 1-0 Arsenal, so, and I notice a lot of people are predicting 2-0 Arsenal. So, but, I wouldn't take Palace for granted at all. They are draw specialists, and 5 of the last 7 Arsenal Crystal Palace fixtures have finished in draws. That's the only thing.
I think it could be Arsenal 3-1 because Lacazette scored a hat-trick against Brentford B or whoever it was inside that pre-training. So I think he's going to have his shooting boots on. I don't know. I just have a funny feeling. I have a feeling that we'll oh, is my camera gone all a bit blurry? I said, I have a funny feeling we'll just get a comfortable victory. I just don't know why. I just got one of them feelings. I'm confident. I think we're playing well. I think the fans, the players, the manager, everyone's all now singing off the same hymn sheet. There's a much better feel at the club. I think all the fans, you don't see no bickering between fans and all that anymore, really, when you're at the games. Everything seems pretty plain and sailing. And I think, obviously, all in all, Patrick Vieira, good manager, has done well with Palace. They're sitting 12th, I think, in the table. I think it's one of them, like, these boys, look, they'll come back and it'll feel like they've missed each other. That seems to be the theme in the team. Like, they've got that connection with each other. And I think that sometimes when you're friends and you've been away for a while, you come back, you want to play when you go to the play five-a-side and you're with your mates and that, Graham, it's a different feel to like when you're in you're playing a Sunday league game or whatnot. Do you know what I mean? And I think they've now got a balance between that. Do you know what I mean? And I think that they're going to come back, and I think the Arsenal are going to show everybody what time it is, and they're going to put a statement down with the first game and let everyone know this fourth spot's ours. That's what I think. 3-1 to Arsenal.
Yeah. Can I just ask you a quick question? Who would you have on the left-hand side? Would you play Smith Rowe or Martinelli?
I'll bring Martinelli back in.
Bring
Martinelli, yeah. I'll bring Smith Rowe in off the bench, and I got to give Laka the. See, that's it. It's hard because Laka gives you something good up front, but he doesn't give you enough. But what he gives you is vital to what Arsenal need. But I wouldn't even mind giving Martinelli a run up front and putting Smith Rowe on the left. Yeah, but
I think that's the only real selection headache for Arteta. I think Leno will carry on in goal because I don't think Ramsdale's fit. I think Cedric's going to stay at right back because I don't think Tomiyasu is quite ready yet. So, and to be fair, Cedric's doing so well at right back at the moment. He doesn't want to give that spot up. But I think the only difficult call he's got is that Smith Rowe Martinelli call on the left hand side. So, and I do think, I think moving forward next season, I mean, we've got to find a way almost like to get them both in the team, haven't we? Because they're both so good. I mean, it's not going to be easy for one of them continually to be sitting out. And Smith Rowe came in against Villa and I thought was really good. Martinelli was the one who, for me, when he came in, revitalised our season, the way he got the team going. But he had dipped off recently and he got sent off, really unlucky to be sent off. But he's been excellent this year. So it's such a close call between Martinelli and Smith Rowe. I think Martinelli sort of hugs to the touchline more, runs in behind. Smith Rowe comes narrow, comes inside more, and then that allows Kieran Tierney to go on the outside. But when you got Cedric bombing up on the right hand side, I think sometimes you want Tierney to be more inverted, to sit back more, and that suits probably Martinelli playing out wide. So for me, I think I agree with you. I think if I had a choice at the moment, I'd rather have Martinelli. Plus the fact, I just think Martinelli, they both are scoring goals, but I just think Martinelli, I just like him. I don't know about you.
I love him. He's, for me, I've been saying it from when we got him in and we seen him in pre-season. And I think it's like Bourne Wood. I can't, I'm not 100% sure if it was them, but he played in a pre-season game anyway. And I thought, right, this kid's good. And then from that same season, we brought him into the first team. We didn't even, because he originally got brought to play with the under-23s, didn't he? But he came in and I just knew this guy's going to be a star. And you got to think he's getting caps for Brazil now at the young age that he is. I think that the skies are the limit for Martinelli. And I think what he gives us energy-wise, I don't think any other player gives us. And I think that's what sets him apart. And I think that's why the fans love him as well, because he's like a Sanchez.
Yeah, spot on there, mate. You going to the game, are you?
You know what? I'm not going to be able to make the Palace game, but I'm going to probably get to the Brighton game. So if you go into the Brighton game, I'll
we catch up at the Brighton game. I was just going to say to you, if you go, because you were at Villa, just wondered what you thought about the furore in the media about Arsenal celebrating a win. I mean, that was the big story, wasn't it, coming out of the game?
No, it is. I think it's just people hating Graham. That's all it is, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, everyone's seen Arsenal in a bad place for a very long time. They've been chatting shit about us. They've been cussing us. They've been joking about us. And that's just a fact. When a team starts to do well and people don't like it, it's bitterness, I think, like Jamie O'Hara, like it's all bitterness. a bungalow, bitterness. And there's
Yeah,
nothing wrong in
Ashley
celebrating.
Young. I think Ashley Young was. I know he was led in the interview, but he was the latest one to join the celebration police, wasn't he? I mean, to be honest with you, what I saw was a great togetherness between the players and the fans, and I got no problem with that, you know, because if you can't celebrate together, and not only the togetherness, but to celebrate a win, you know, you get up early, don't you, to go to these sort of games, 12:30 kickoff. You would have. I know you probably come from Manchester, so you probably don't have to go as far as people from London, but you know, if you're getting up early and you're going up there and you're supporting the team and they've won it, you feel, you know, you want to celebrate a win. It's part of the day, isn't it? So, and I just think that these people that say you can't celebrate a win in football, I just don't get where it's coming from. You know, because I'm not being funny. I mean, I can remember, you know, Jurgen Klopp, for example, celebrating when Liverpool got a draw against West Brom in front of the Klopp. You know, he took the players down. They all held hands, didn't they? And sort of like celebrated in front of the Kop. They got a 2-2 draw because they scored in the 95th minute to rescue a game. And they always used to do it in other leagues in Germany and Italy. Players used to go over, hold hands, and sort of like celebrate with the crowd at the end, a win. I just don't see nothing wrong with it, because if you can't, you know, if you need to win a trophy to celebrate, I've said this before, what's the point of Tottenham Hotspur existing? Because, you know, Tottenham Hotspur don't win trophies, so they might as well not exist. So, and all they celebrate is Harry Kane goal landmarks, isn't it? So,
there we go, Tottenham.
That's my Tottenham joke of the day, yeah.
But yeah, Graham, on that note, the Tottenham note, we're going to wrap it up there. I was going to say thank you very much for coming on. It's been a pleasure to have you on. You're welcome anytime. And people, Arsenal versus Crystal Palace on Monday. Hopefully, United lose, Tottenham lose, and we're in a good position and we could win the game, get 3 points. 3-1's my prediction, and we'll leave it till the next one. Peace out.